Hey, y'all, listen, happy Thursday. Welcome into the building. Nice to see y'all. Glad to see y'all. Thanks for being here. Listen, it's Trending Topics Thursday with the Diva, okay? And the title is real simple. It's called Crazy and Unbelievable. It's called Crazy and Unbelievable. Don't forget, hit that like button as you come in the building, okay? Show Diva some love just by simply hitting the like button. Listen, crazy and unbelievable. We got a wife's deadly rage. Listen, I'll tell you this. 5-5, double nickels. 55 years I've been here on this earth. And I'm going to tell you, when it comes to relationships, you win some, you lose some. Whether you're married or just dating. One day the person's in love with you. The next day they can act like they hate you or they really hate you and they don't want nothing to do with you no more. You can have one of their children. You can have a whole slew of their children. When they're done with you, they done with you. And you got to figure out a way to keep your head up and keep it pushing. You got this wife. She took it literally. If you ain't going to be with me, then you ain't going to be with nobody. She got mad. I guess the woman was coming into his DMs, the husband's DMs, and he fell for the okie doke. But she said there will be no peace unless you with me. She took his life. They had 3 children together. So she took not just his life, but the father of her children. Now she's locked up. And now the kids essentially lost their father and their mother. Girl, go to counseling. Are you kidding me right now? Because this man was I don't know what he was doing. You going to take his life? It's the father of your children. Get over it. But now you took his life and now your life is taken because you in the jail. And your 3 babies are going to grow up with no mother, no father, and a legacy that comes from hell. Every time somebody asks about their mommy and daddy, they got to say, my dad is dead and my mother took his life. Kids have it hard enough. And now that's their legacy. Dad is gone and my mother took his life. And when your mother does get out of jail, if that is your legacy, do you have a relationship with your mother? How could you? How do you begin to have a relationship with your mother and your mother took your father away from you? People are doing too much. Get counseling. Pray something. Meditate. You destroyed the lives of your 3 children and you took a man off the face of this earth. Somebody's brother, somebody's son, somebody's cousin, somebody's father, not just somebody, your kid's father. We're going to talk about it. Then we said this before, and then there's several teacher stories that I'm like, I can't do it. I just bypass it because some of them are so vile and disgusting. I don't know, we looking at Diddy sideways, but meantime, back at the ranch in the regular streets, there's a whole bunch of people for real, sleeping with the kids. And it's some of these teachers. How do you look at a kid and say, "Oh, I would like to sleep with them"? I'll never understand that. But this particular teacher, 350 pounds he weighs. 350 pounds. He decided he was going to step on the kid's back. Now they said the kid walking like an 80-year-old in pain. There's some jobs that if you don't have no patience, you can't do it. If you don't have patience, don't be a nurse. You don't have patience, don't be a police officer. You don't have patience, don't be a teacher. Because the kids wasn't listening to you, you stepping on them, and you 350 pounds? I'm suing everybody. And I don't know what they can do to get a better pool of teachers, but they need to figure it out. Between the predators that are teachers and then the people that are just stark, raving, crazy, mad, they need to figure it out. How do we get better teachers? Because this is insane. Then listen, I'm going to talk about it because that's what I do on Trending Topics, and that's what I do over here. And if you've been following me for a minute, you know I don't back down. So I'm going to talk about a sensitive subject. And before I talk about it, I'm going to give a little disclaimer. Born and raised in the church. I still go to church to this day. I don't have no problem with no church on the face of this earth collecting a donation. I have zero problem with it. I have zero problem with a church talking about the tithes and the offering. Zero problem with it. Zero. Because just like people are encouraged to give to charities, the church is no different. I have zero problem with a church asking for money because, see, every single day at the end and the beginning of the day, diva use was between these ears, my brain. I have no problem giving to no church. I believe in the tithes and the offering, and that's me. And I don't have nothing against, because over here too, I let everybody believe what they want to believe. When the voting came time to vote, and some people believed in Trump, others believed in Kamala, and I said to the people, vote for who you want to vote for. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, and I'm not going to call you dumb, stupid, or both because you decide to vote for a person A over person B. Not my circus. So I got to put the disclaimer up front that Devo ain't got no problem with the church. But I do have a problem with some of the people who want to stand up in the pulpit and act a fool. Marvin Sapp. And they got the video. So this ain't Diva putting 20 on 10. Marvin Sapp was in the pulpit on a convention last year telling the ushers, lock the doors. And I'm going to paraphrase. So we collecting $40K tonight. I need $20 from all the parishioners out there. I need $100 from every single one of my leaders. And y'all online that's listening, I need y'all to give $20 too. Lock the doors. He had to tell the ushers more than once, because somebody wanted to come in my comments in the video earlier and say, no, if you go to the church, that's what they usually do. I know that's what they usually do. How come he had to tell the ushers more than once to lock the doors if that's a normal practice? Miss me with the nonsense. If that's a normal practice, he would have simply had said, we're collecting the offering, lock the doors. And they would have locked them. Locked them, closed them, whatever. There ain't no normal practice. I've been going to church all my life. And the ushers must have been looking at him. Mm-hmm. He said, close the doors, close the doors. He told them more than once. Then he wanted to put out a statement explaining the situation, saying that conferences cost money and he was charged to raise the money for the conference that they was doing. See, sometimes I think because people are in certain positions, they act like we're not going to use our brain, or we're going to pretend and we're not going to say nothing. You knew how much the conference cost while you was planning it. And we all grown. You can simply tell the people, listen, the conference is going to cost $40,000. But a lot of times with the church, the conferences that I know of, you got to pay a fee to go to the conference. If we're going to talk, can we talk? Thank you, K&J. Can we talk? You got to pay a fee to go to the conference. Not everyday church. To go to the conference, you got to pay a fee. Because conferences cost money. Let's be clear here. They usually doing it in a convention center. And like I said, I ain't got no problem with that. But you know how much it costs while you planning it. And you could have told the people ahead of time, on Thursday night at the conference, we want to raise money to offset the charges. So can everybody bring $20 or to $100? So, and that's going to be our night of giving. But he said, close the doors. Then he wants to give us a Bible verse to connect with his message. And try to explain himself. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about it, though. I got my thoughts. Y'all have yours, and we're going to have a conversation. And yes, in the church, we give money. But do I think the way that he did it was messy? I do. But we'll talk about it. Listen, guys, y'all know what time it is. It's time for me to bring the people on in the building. It is Thursday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Crazy and Unbelievable. We got a wife's deadly rage, and now she's locked up. The husband is gone, and the children have no mother, no father. We got a teacher shocking that, and we got Marvin Sapp. Let's bring the people on in the building. Hold on one second. Hey, Leo. And y'all give me a choo-choo. Thank you today. Hey, Leo.
Choo-choo.
Come on. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva. Choo-choo.
Choo-choo, y'all. Old Diva. Breaking news live on the fly.
What was called to me?
So they have a decision on that Yolanda chick, and she's been denied parole officially.
Who's that?
The lady who unalived
Yolanda
Selena.
Salvador.
The lady who unalived Selena.
Selena. Okay.
Wait, who is?
Okay.
The lady
The one that took
Selena.
Selena money and then unalived them. Yeah, unalived her. Selena, the Hispanic singer, the Mexican singer.
Selena. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I didn't think they was going to let her out.
She couldn't have possibly thought she's going to get out of jail after unaliving somebody.
Yeah, the people was pissy hot mad at her. I don't know why she thought she was getting out. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
She acted like she wanted to take her life. She knew darn well she wasn't trying to take her life.
Yeah, she full of crap. Thank you so much for that update, Julius. I was like, who? Okay. All right. Listen, everybody, let's go ahead and get into the first story here. If everybody could just mute so I won't get any feedback while we get into this first story. And the first story is I'm going to do this wife's deadly rage. It's unbelievable and it's very sad. Let me go ahead and share screen.
is accused of shooting and killing her husband. Philadelphia police say she tried to cover her tracks, but the investigation pointed to her as the suspect.
She has been arrested as investigators work to figure out why she allegedly pulled the trigger.
Monday night, I'm Shari Williams alongside Gray Hall. The big story on Action News tonight is a neighborhood stunned after a shocking murder.
An engineer for SEPTA is dead. His wife tonight in police custody after he was found in the street in the city's Endor neighborhood. Action News reporter Jessica Cartalia live for us outside Philadelphia Police headquarters with more on what we're learning about this investigation. Jessica.
Yeah, well, Gray and Shari, here at police headquarters, they're investigating this disturbing case of domestic violence as 3 children are left without their parents. Their father killed, their mother now behind bars.
We were shocked. We were totally shocked.
Total mayhem is how Andorra residents described the scene they woke up to on Wednesday morning.
10 cop cars, rescue, fire truck. It's a quiet street. That doesn't happen.
Philadelphia police say just before 7 a.m., officers responded to a report of a person screaming. When they arrived on Bells Mill Road, they found 38-year-old Jordan Baxter lying on a plastic sheet between 2 parked cars with a gun on his chest. Investigators discovered Baxter had been shot in the back of the head, and there was blood on a mattress inside the house. The next morning, 39-year-old Danielle Baxter was arrested and charged with murdering her husband.
Super nice family.
Neighbors who asked that we not show their faces say the couple has 3 children and were very friendly. Jordan Baxter worked as a SEPTA engineer for 14 years. SEPTA released a statement saying, "We're saddened by the tragic loss of Jordan Baxter, who was a veteran regional rail engineer. Our thoughts are with his loved ones at this difficult time."
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. They have children. Very nice.
A neighbor who shares a driveway with the Baxters says she was shocked that she never heard a gunshot.
I guess the way the houses are made, you hear children running up and down the steps or music, no voices ever.
Jordan Baxter's parents shared these photos with Action News and started a GoFundMe to help pay for his funeral.
I'm just sad. Very sad.
And when I spoke with Jordan Baxter's parents, they tell me that they were too distraught to go on camera, but they're hoping that people will donate to that GoFundMe so that they can have the funeral that he deserves. We're live tonight at police headquarters. I'm Jessica Cartalia for Action News at 10 on PHL 17. Gray?
Yeah, a family ripped apart. Okay, Jessica, thanks for the update. Now,
Super sad. I'm going to share screen again. 1 second. The children don't deserve it. His parents didn't deserve it. It's sad. Oh, why is this ad in the way? Hold on 1 second. Husband allegedly shot dead by wife days after she complained about woman plotting on their marriage. A mom of 3 is accused of fatally shooting her husband and leaving his body on a plastic sheet outside their Philadelphia home, just days after complaining online about other women plotting on her marriage. Danielle Baxter, 39, faces multiple charges, including murder and abuse of a corpse in the death of her husband, Jordan Baxter, 38, whose body was found by police on a plastic sheet between 2 cars parked outside their home early Wednesday last week. The husband had been shot in the head and a pow was left on his chest. Blood was also inside the home he shared with his wife and 3 kids, the outlet reported. Danielle Baxter had also posted cryptic Facebook messages about their marriage just days before the unaliving, according to the Daily Voice Morrisville. That is her. These females out here be plotting on your marriage and wanting you for and waiting for your downfall so they can come right on in, and these men let them, she reportedly wrote on March 14th, 5 days before her husband's body was found. Danielle Baxter was arrested a day after her husband's death. She was charged with murder and other offenses, including abuse of a corpse. And this is what she wrote on her social media page. That was them in better times. She remains in custody and is scheduled to appear in court on April 7th. Police have yet to share a motive. Well, they don't got to share it. I think we know it, but it's pretty sad. Whew. Leo, your thoughts?
Wow, the devil is busy. It sounds like the relationship was already toxic. I feel sorry for these children. I can just imagine the type of trauma that they had to live with. Am I breaking up?
No, you're not.
Oh, okay. The type of trauma these kids had to live with, I can just only imagine how terrible it probably has been in that household. She just sounds crazy as I don't know what out on the social medias talking about her, somebody want her man. I guess, girl. Destructive. It's terrible. It's terrible. I feel terrible for the kids. I wish we would learn that sometimes it's just easier to leave. You ain't even got to get a divorce if you can't afford it. If you can leave, at least you got a mama. She had no place she can go. You got to take out your kid's father.
Mm.
I just don't. I don't understand it. I never will. That's all.
Thank you. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So these kids lost both parents that day because mama ain't gonna never get out from this. So essentially they lost two parents.
Mm.
I think it's sad that because you thought he was cheating or you know he was cheating, this is the only way you thought you had a way out. It baffles me that she would do it and then put his body right outside her house too. Like they weren't gonna know you did it. I mean, I just don't understand that. It's the craziness for me. These people do the weirdest stuff and think they'll get away with it. It's not worth it.
Mm. It's not worth it. Katrina, your thoughts?
Obviously, if he's meant for you, if he's yours, you won't have to worry about nobody taking him. Obviously, if somebody else can take him, he was never meant to be with you. And she was plotting to say that somebody else had pow to him. I guarantee you, because why would you take him outside and lay him on a sheet? You had your little plan in action, but it didn't work out. And now these kids are without parents because grown-ups couldn't act like grown-ups. They was acting like children. And if you're not ready to be with one person, then don't settle down with that person. Let that person go and live their life and you go live yours. Because things like this will happen. And this is a sad situation for the children. It's ridiculous that you got to take somebody's life because they're cheating. They want to cheat and do whatever, they're going to do it anyway, girl. Just move on, go with somewhere else, take care of your kids, raise your kids, and let the streets have them. But you didn't do that. You want to go to the other route, and now you stuck behind bars because, like I said before, when women fight over men, the men always end up winning, but not this time because most of the time the women's end up in jail, one end up unalive, and the man gone by his business. Now the woman that was cheating on him, so-called cheating, we don't know, but she's out free and can do whatever she wants to do. Anyway, it's sad, and I feel sorry for the children. But
Yeah.
rest in peace to the man that got unalive. That's
Yeah.
all I got.
Thank you. Wayne, your thoughts?
Yeah, Katrina said, he's for the streets. Sound like that's where she put him back on the street. She's trying to make a statement.
Mm.
She put him out for the trash.
Mm.
She put him right in the street for the trash. Now, I don't know what gets in these people's minds that think that they can do some of these heinous crimes and that they're going home. They're going home to take care of their children. They think they're going to go home and send them off to school, and it's just going to be hunky dory. How these people think that nothing is going to happen? I don't know where their minds are. I don't know what he did. I mean, he could have been, adultery or whatever, but that doesn't deserve a life sentence of, being unalive. And like Leo, one of them said that now they ain't got no parents. They ain't got nobody. Look at our little scholars now got to try to fend for themselves, going into somebody else's care. What's that care they do?
Like foster care, you
Yeah,
thinking?
foster care, or have some family take them. Their whole lives are disrupted. She didn't just take away a life. She disrupted several people's lives, her children's lives. If she got any family, their lives. They got to live with this BS because of her. It's crazy. I'm done.
Yeah. Julius, your thoughts?
You should have just thrown that downhole 2-bit dog in the street. Now, you wrecked your own freedom over a nobody, a low value person. Because, see, if someone has to step out on a relationship, especially when you've been married for a decade plus, they are low value. And some people do commit infidelity as a way to escape abuse. Now, I want to be clear, that's not okay either, because that can make, especially when it comes to DV situations, that can make that worse. But going back to this situation, you could have thrown that downhole dirty dog to the street and you could have still been with your babies.
Keisha, your thoughts? Welcome into the building.
Thank you guys. Hey, how you guys doing? Just wanted to comment on this and then I'm gonna drop down, but it's totally sad for the children because I know they're gonna miss both their parents. And the sad that it's both. And even if it was one, that would still be sad, but both. But just on a personal note, when I was younger, which you don't see a lot, but I remember I had my two favorite godparents, and they were both police officers. And my dad was a detective and police officer, so the families were super close. So I used to go visit them all the time because there was two daughters. They were both my god sisters, and like I told you before, I'm an only child, so I used to like to visit them and play. And the mom was so nice. Both were nice. And so my godfather, he was, I guess, like messing around on his wife and
Mm.
asked for a divorce. And he was pretty bold with it. I mean, like, generally they say men in uniforms are pretty, they carry their weight with them and they're abusive and all kinds of stuff, which is a stereotype. But anyway, so he asked for a divorce from her. And so she was willing to give it to him. And I guess she started dating while the divorce was in the proceedings. So I guess him with, being a man, having his power, one day he decided to unalive her and he unalived himself. So it was both parents, kind of like this one, but they both unalived them. And the sad part was then her mother had to step up and take them, which she was super sweet. But every time I went to visit them, the younger one, all she would ever say is, "I miss my mama. I just miss my mama." And
Mm.
her older sister, my older god sister, Adrian, she was the one who had to kind of step up and be that mother figure. But you could see how after that happened, how close they became with each other. But it was just a sad story. It's like it's crazy for us to talk about it because when we get in these relationships, we feel like we know the people, but honestly, that could be any of us. You never know what somebody may do.
That is true. But sometimes if you begin to see some toxic behaviors, you got to believe them. The neighbors, who knows what was going on and why he was over there, because the neighbors said, there was another piece where they said they don't think he was living there anymore. And she could have snapped. I don't know what she did, but I know she destroyed her life. She took a life and she destroyed the lives of 3 children. So 5 people was impacted by her senseless act. Very sad. I'll stay connected to this story to see what's more going on. But I think it was, in my opinion, that somebody said, how did she get that body out there? Just wondering if someone came and helped her. Because how did she move him out to the street?
She moved him on the plastic. The body was laying on the plastic, so she was sliding him. That's the reason why the gun was the GUN was sitting on top of him. That's what I figured. And she
Oh,
broke down in the middle when she realized what she had done. They probably was some raging maniacs in that house. Some people don't know. People don't know what goes on in the home. They probably was some maniacs, child. They got a GU in the house, got small kids. I mean, come on, man. I don't know.
well, you know what? Yeah, you're adding a little bit for me. Yeah, you got a pow in the house. Yeah, oh God, it's insanity. Just very sad though. These kids now, where do they go? And it's not just about like losing their parents, like you're uprooted from your home too. And then who do you have that is going to take in all three kids? Sometimes when the families are sitting back and making that decision, you have some people to be like, oh, I'll take the little girl. I'll take Diva, but the other two, I just don't have the room. And then you're calling around saying, we're trying to see if they can all stay together. Is there anybody willing to take all three of the kids? And everybody's willing to help till you really need help, and then you can't get nobody to help. Go ahead, Keisha. You want to say something before I move to the next story?
Yeah, I was just gonna add on what you said. That's a good point you made too about not just the parents but uprooting. Not to say it's all about money, but when the parents were alive, their house was different. They had pretty much the parents gave them pretty much everything they wanted. And nice neighborhoods, everything. The grandmother had a nice neighborhood too, but it wasn't, as nice. Now they were, like you said, uprooted. Now they were sharing a bedroom. Everything was completely different. They were sharing clothes. Once the older one couldn't fit it, it was going down to the little one. So yeah, it's a total lot of things that go into play with that.
Yeah. She just, oh my God, it's just sad. All right, I'm going to roll into this next story where the teacher decided he was going to use the student as a step stool, and he's 350 pounds. It really wouldn't have mattered if the teacher was 150 pounds, but 350 pounds, like that's deadly. Like even stepping on an adult with that weight would be a lot. Okay. And I know Savannah said, remember yesterday's story, baby girl got lost with no one to protect her. Yeah. And Savannah, unfortunately, there's more coming out with that story, which is even sadder. Just how CPS was called multiple times on that family. And now she's gone. The level of violence. Yeah. Oh my God, increased matter. The level of violence is sad, sickening. All right. So let me go ahead and share screen. And let's get into this teacher story. So 350-pound teacher arrested for using student as a stepping stool, leaving injured child walking around like an 80-year-old, the cop said. A 350-pound teacher in Minnesota has been charged after he allegedly used a sixth grade student as a stepping stool during a school safety drill, the cops say. Jason Rogers, 48, confessed to standing on the boy's back after the student opted to lie on his stomach instead of sitting down during the drill at the Underwood School last month, the Star Tribune reported, citing court documents. The boy's mother said the saga had left her son so badly injured that he was walking around like an 80-year-old from the pain in his back, the criminal complaint states. That is the teacher who did it. Authorities were only alerted to the ordeal after the boy was taken to the hospital to be treated for his injuries, cops said. The boy told cops his teacher stood on his back for roughly 10 seconds, causing him to cry out in pain. The child did not know why the defendant did this because he did not hear him say anything about it and just stepped on him like he was a stepping stool, the criminal complaint said. He stated the entire class saw it and thought the defendant had broken the boy's back. When questioned, Rogers, who acknowledged he weighed roughly 350 pounds, allegedly admitted he did it because he didn't think the students were taking the drill seriously enough at the time. He said multiple kids was lying on their stomachs and that he had warned them he could step on them in their current position. Rogers then allegedly put his foot on the injured student's lower back and put his weight on him, the court document stated. After hearing the boy groan and say ouch, Rogers told cops he asked the child if he was okay. The teacher also copped to stepping on two other students during the drill, according to the complaint. He was slapped with 1 gross misdemeanor count of malicious punishment of a child as a result. Rogers has since been put on paid administrative leave while the incident is investigated. A spokesperson for the Underwood Public School District said, paid? He's almost 400 pounds. You ain't lying. Leo, your thoughts?
Yes, girl, paid. That school district, they give paid leave for misconduct. But you know what it also speaks to, and I'm gonna just say this part really quickly. Kids are terrible. Kids are terrible in this school system. You do have to pack your patience if you're going to be a teacher, definitely. But I can tell you on the other side of that, when I was in college, I took several sociology classes, and I've heard this twice, that teachers are control freaks. And he simply lost it. He lost his boundary. He need to get fired, because in the article you said that he was frustrated. You read that he was frustrated because the kids weren't listening to him, correct? So it really taps into the psychology of some teachers, not all, not all, but they are really controlling. It's a certain type of personality that you have to deal with children. And when I was trained as a substitute teacher, my instructor, and this was years later, this was a side gig I was getting into with substitute teaching along with my other job. Even my instructor also said, second time I heard this, that teachers are controlling. And when those kids weren't listening, he just lost it and stepped on the baby back and broke it. And I'm trying to tell you, he need to lose his job because he can't control his emotions. It's time for he burnt out. It's time for him to pack it up and go head on and take it to the house.
Pack it up and that's it. You ain't lying. Yeah, he could have broken his spine. Ooh, child. In my opinion, your thoughts?
My thoughts is, say what? No, he shouldn't be on no paid leave. He should be behind bars, okay? And what's up with this one count if he stood on 3 kids' backs? No, I'm suing the school. I'm suing this teacher. I'm suing the district, okay? Because why is he on paid leave? He getting money while my kid is hurt. Oh, no. No, they will have to pay me for my pain, pay me for my struggle, and pay me for my time. It's not going to happen. I refuse. This man knew exactly what he was doing. He's 350 pounds. You obese. Standing on top of a 6th grader that probably weighs no more than 100 pounds at most. Is you crazy? I wish somebody would stand on one of my children, boy. That's gonna be his last day standing on anybody, okay? He gonna have to hope he stand on this earth.
I appreciate you. Katrina, your thoughts?
What he should have been standing on was a scale. Well, you standing on somebody's back. That's ridiculous. And yes, Felicia, Leo, some of these kids are terrible in these schools. And I always believe about the strong hand, but that right there is just ridiculous. Now, if you can fire somebody for pulling somebody's hair, I know you can fire somebody for standing on somebody's child back and being on paid administrative leave. There's no way. There's no way. Because it states in your thing, you cannot put your hands on these kids. It ain't like back in the day when you can paddle them. You can't do it anymore. And to be put on paid administrative leave, that don't wash with me. That don't wash. And I'm not saying this as a colorist thing, but I'm wondering if that person was black, would they be getting on paid administrative leave or would they be outright fired? This is ridiculous. And he, like, in my opinion, Leo both said he needs to be fired. No ends, anything about it. He just need to be out of there. He need to be out of there. That's all I got.
Julius, your thoughts?
Is it me, or do y'all feel when we hear the term paid administrative leave, it's a cop out so we can figure out a way to bring this person back? That's what I feel like. It's a cop out. This person needs to be terminated and it needs to go on his record. That's it. That's all. Shoot, shoot, beep, beep. Hit the like button, y'all, because I'm watching.
Yeah, you're right. You reminded me, Katrina, the coach that got fired because he pulled the girl's hair. Yeah, this is crazy that he's on paid administrative leave, and it's just insane to me. And then he said he stepped on 2 other kids too. So I don't know what's going on with that. Like, I guess maybe those 2 were fortunate that they didn't have any, injuries or whatever the case may be. And I think the only reason why the cops got alerted in this particular case is because the child ended up going to the hospital. Wayne, did you have any thoughts on this story?
Oh yeah. Do you know that is he could have broke that boy's back.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? I think what saved him. I don't know how old the kids was, but bones are not fully developed. You know, they're like sort of like gristle. You know, when I don't know if any of them heard this when they're coming up. Your older folks used to say, "Get that for me right there. My bones bend. They don't. My bones break. They don't bend." Like the young kid. So 350 pounds of dead weight. Dead weight. He could have paralyzed that boy. If he had stepped the wrong way, that boy would be paralyzed. This is insensitive to, if you think that's punishment, or you think, they did something wrong, this is the way you punish it. You 350 pounds. I don't know what he was thinking. But he needed to be somewhere in jail thinking about what he did. That's it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. So we're going to go ahead and roll into our last story. And our last story is Marvin Sapp pretty much telling the ushers, lock the doors because we got to get this 40K. All right. And then he did come back and explained himself. But first, I'll go into the first part of the story. Marvin Sapp to congregation, no one leaves until we get 40K. Ushers close the doors. Okay. And they calling it the holy shakedown. That's so crazy. Okay, I gotta wait because it is my computer is acting up for a minute. When it stops spinning, I'll show it. Case for those that did not see it. So gospel singer and Bishop Marvin Sapp is under fire for unorthodox way of asking church members for donations because he's on video telling ushers to close the doors until a huge goal is met. Resurfaced video from Marvin serving at the Pentecostal Assemblies of the World Annual Summer Convention is going viral, and folks are taking issue with Marvin's fundraising style. In the clip, the gospel music legend turned preacher tells the ushers to close the doors until 1,000 worshipers in the building donate $20 each. Marvin then tells the 10,000s of folks watching the live stream to pony up 20 as well. He says it's an easy way to raise $40,000 for the church. And he says all the pastors on the stage need to cough up $100. Marvin takes out his bankroll and puts his money where his mouth is. But then some folks said he put his foot in his mouth by telling people in the building to physically come up to the stage and show him their donations. Cash is king, but Marvin says electronic payments work too. And he says anyone donating with their phones need to prove they sent the money. The big issue here for the most folks online is Marvin instructing the ushers to close the doors, with some going so far as to claim he was holding people hostage. Police tell us they were not called. Marvin's plea happened after he sung and preached at the 2024 POW convention in Baltimore back in July, but the video is just now getting traction and stirring debate. Wednesday night, Sapp posted a response on Facebook to the public outcry about the video. He says, in part, my directive was not about control. It was about creating a safe, focused, and reverent environment for those choosing to give and for those handling the resources. They reached out to him and no word back. Let me see if my video stopped acting up here. Let me see if I can get this to clear up. There we go. I'll just wait for the commercial to pass here and I'll skip it and then we'll get into it And then I also have a longer response at this, hurry up and go by. I have a longer response that he put out after that response that I just read to you. There we go.
Leadership lead, and they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. I just think $20 is a lot of money. $20, believe it or not, when my late wife, Melinda P. Sapp, was alive, was a good date. I could take her to the movies, buy a box of popcorn, get 1 soda, 2 straws. I wasn't cheap, that's swag. I was looking in her eyes, she's looking in mine. Can't do that no more. Now, everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100. Because again, it costs to sit up here. I got you. Let's see. So put your 20 away, preachers. That 20 wasn't for you. And this is what I need you to do. If you're giving electronically, or even if you're giving tangibly, I'm gonna have y'all come to the altar and give it, because I need to see 1,000 people moving. Bring them baskets. I want the baskets up here. I want to see the folk. Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come. Even if you're giving tangibly, just put your hand on take your phone and stick it on the bucket. Shh. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. This ain't the time to talk. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people online need to give $20. This is easy, saints. This is an easy miracle. We should be able to raise $40,000 tonight just from y'all giving.
Hold on 1 second. Now let me share screen again. So after that, because I guess the people were still worked up, he came out with another response, okay? So response, let's add context to the clip on social media. Recently, the clip has gone viral of me challenging 2,000 individuals virtually and in person to plant a seed of 20 during an international gathering held at a convention center with over 4,000 people in attendance at even, plus virtual viewers. In that same moment, I also challenged leadership to lead by example by sowing $100 that evening. I personally gave much more. Some have taken this issue with a particular moment when I instructed the ushers rather firmly to close the doors during the offering. To those unfamiliar with the church context or who may not regularly attend worship gatherings, this has been misinterpreted as holding people hostage as well as offensive. That was never my intent. The truth is, when finances are being received in any worship gathering, it is one of the most vulnerable and exposed times for both the finance and security teams. Movement during this sacred exchange can be distracting and at times even risky. My directive was not about control. It was about creating a safe, focused, and reverent environment for those choosing to give and for those handling the resources. Unfortunately, in the social media age, snippets are easily shared without context. and assumptions are quickly made without understanding the full picture. Conferences have budgets, churches have budgets, and people have budgets. As the assigned ministerial gift for this international gathering, one of my responsibilities was to help raise the conference budget. That's not manipulation, it's stewardship. Never now allow me to give you some biblical context, not opinion, not tradition, but scripture. In Chronicles 1:29, we find a powerful moment where David, preparing for the building of the temple, challenges the people to give. He starts by giving his own treasure over and above what he has already set aside. Then he calls on the leaders to do the same. What happened next? The people gave willingly and generously. In fact, they gave so much that a record was kept of each gift, and ultimately, David had to tell the people to stop giving because the need had been exceeded. The Bible says they gave gold, silver, bronze, iron, and precious stones. Specific amounts were recorded, not because God needed their money, but because the people needed to show their commitment to the vision and because stewardship demands accountability. So when someone challenges people to give a specific amount, it's not unbiblical. It is not manipulation. It is in order. It is consistent with scripture. But here's the tension. People, traditions often conflict with biblical truth. That's why Jesus himself said, the traditions of men make the word of God of no effect. Mark chapter 7, verse 13. So yes, you saw a moment, but I invite you to understand the moment behind it. I felt it was necessary to provide context to this clip and hope you share the explanation with the same passion and speed that the original clip was shared. Honor, clarity, and truth are what our older people, and I'll always provide just that. Leo, your thoughts?
I'm not quite sure who we're speaking of here. Is this my man that's saying never would have made it?
That's him.
Child. When I didn't see that long clip earlier today. I only seen a short clip. Even the little part I seen, I was disgusted. And then listening to the whole thing, that longer clip you had, oh God, my stomach was turning. It is just the reason why people question and just like you say, I ain't got no smoke for the church. Don't even come for me because I don't have no smoke.
That's that part. Yes, come on now.
I don't have no. That ain't mine. But to say people question, organized religion because of these types of things that's going on. I mean, you gotta walk up here and give $20. What half some people in that church ain't got $20 to give this man? And just the sheer. It's disgusting because of the sheer way that he's bold enough to step all the way out and jump out the window and cover every mode of payment, lock the people in the building, then publicly try to embarrass them and shame them into giving money, even bribe them into giving money. What they say, giving is, what is it? The giving is worship? The giving is worship? I mean, all the way bribing the people to say they're going to get spiritual favors if they pay the $20. It is disgusting. Man, I don't know. I don't know why he can't sing and make his money. I just don't understand it. And it's up to those people who are part of his congregation. If they don't see a problem with it, maybe in a few days I'll read something where somebody then called him out or something. But his congregation don't seem to mind it. It's all us outsiders out here looking to see the foolishness, to understand that that's not right. And if they can't see it, then I don't know, because I'm quite sure this is not the first time this man has ever put the pressure on them to give up the donations. So I guess.
Thank you, Leo. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So this is why you have to read the Bible for yourself. and understand it and get an understanding and follow people that are feeding your soul, because people come out and play on you for your money. I hate it. I hated this whole scene because this is why people look down on the church as a whole. They feel like I'm going to be made to give. I got to give in order to go into this church service. And a lot of people don't attend for that reason. The Bible doesn't tell you you have to give. It tells you an amount that he would like for you to give, but he don't say you have to. It's really pathetic of him to do this at a conference, because at most conference, you pay to go to the conference. So on top of these people paying, you don't know these people's situation, but you're going to tell them what they janky pocket got in it. You don't know nobody's situation. You don't. And the fact that he sat here and locked these people in and said, I want to see 1,000 people moving. You can see 1,000 people moving all day long, but it don't mean you're going to get 40,000 that you asked them for. These are some really slow people, because I would have told him, I would have stood up in front of that church and told him, I'm walking out. This is disrespectful. And you're disrespecting God's word. I don't play about mine. I don't play about my religion. I really don't. I feel like this is blasphemy. It is, because you sitting here and you playing with God's words. You sitting here and you playing with his love, his time, his condition. And if you don't mean it from the bottom of your soul, then get out of it, because there's going to be a place for you. And I'm telling you, that place going to burn you up. I hate it.
Thank you. In my opinion, I appreciate you. Wayne, your thoughts?
Well, y'all know this is a sore one for me. I was in the church one time visiting, and they did the same thing. They was getting ready to take up the offering, and before they got ready to take up the offering, they was talking about lock the doors. And I jumped up and got out of there. These pastors, I'm gonna tell you what it is. These pastors, charismatic, and they got the people believing what they say, and have them believe in fear of that. If you don't give, God not gonna bless you. You see how he's almost demanding that they give $20, and then he tells the people on the stage they're gonna give 100, and then the pastors, whoever, they're gonna give another amount. These preachers are religious liars. They're religious grifters. They make all this money on the backs of these poor parishioners and the ones who have money. And they come in there and tell them that, oh, I made my money through books. I made mine through tapes. What he should have done, if he wanted to have a conference, he could have said, look, y'all, we're going to have this conference and we need to raise some money. It costs 40, I'll put up 20,000. Can we get some free will offerings, maybe to make up the rest? Don't stipulate amount. How you gonna stipulate amount? $20 could be all the money somebody has to be able to get to your church because they ain't got no car. $20 may be the only money left to put food on the table. And you're gonna make them choose. You're trying to make them believe that you're choosing between God and your family. And you know God comes first. No, it's you. It ain't God. And they've got these people in these churches, they won't say nothing. If they do, some of them are scared they're going to be disfellowshipped by the other parishioners. And so these churches, they are 10 toes down. Lady told me one time, she said, in my life, first come God, my husband, and then my pastor. Like, you're a nut. You're a nut. And I'm telling you, a lot of these people, these are cults. I think they cults. I'm talking about some of the, I'll say it, some of these Pentecostal people, Pentecostal churches, I think they nothing but a cult. It's some good ones out there, but believe me, I've been around a long time and been in some of these churches, and I know how they act. The church I went to, I swore up and down, I put my life on what they would do and what they wouldn't do. See, they got me at an early age, around 17, and I believe 10 toes down until they came after me. And that's when I knew in my heart, no, this ain't right. And they learned real quick. Because I was just about to dare them to say something to me. I was in that church, I would have cursed every MF out in the church on this day. This is how pissed off I am back from the 80s. So I know how these churches put in these people's mind, get them when they're young. Get the young guys that don't have fathers in the church. And the mothers let them be mentors to them. Yeah, right, mentors. So I'm like, miss me with the BS and all the money you need. You nothing but a liar, a con, and a thief. I'm done.
Whew. Katrina, your thoughts?
You want me to go after that? Yeah. You can have church with 3 people. You don't have to be inside of a building. Um, and for you to say you lock the doors, you keep me in here until I pay you, then you just say on your own, in your own admission, that you could take $20 and go to the movies and y'all can buy popcorn whatsoever with that. And now you can't do that. So what you think about these people that got to go buy eggs and bacon? Remember the eggs and bacon? So if they can't afford popcorn and drinks at a movie, how you think they can afford to give you $20 when they got to pay for eggs and bacon? These churches are tax-free money. These preachers gets in there, they make all the money, and the congregation is going to the soup line, but they driving off in a Mercedes Benz. It was another woman, Paula White, that said that if you give her $1,000 as an offering, you get your own angel. You get to be mad with anybody you want to be mad with, and you get eternal blessing. How are you gonna tell me what God gonna give me if I give you $1,000? But you have people that fall for this mess, and it's just ridiculous that they play with the word of God. You taking this word and twisting it to your own advantage because you know these people trying to get to heaven. But like I tell a lot of people, a preacher can't get you to heaven. The only person to get you to heaven is yourself, if that's what you believe in. Can't nobody get you there. You come in this world alone, you leaving this world alone. And no man or woman can get you into heaven. It's yourself that can get you into heaven. That's all I got, Eva.
Thank you, Tara. I'm with you. He could have had a concert in charge, and he could have charged the people $20. And they definitely would have paid, and he would have made it. That is a really good point. I like that. And listen, again, I said in the beginning, I'm going to say it throughout this video, even though we're about to end after I go to Julius, is that I don't have a problem with a church. I don't even have a problem with them asking for money. I've been there, done that, and I've known that this is what they do. But the fact that he said, close the doors, close the doors, close the doors. You going to come up here and show me and prove you had this $20. That's where my problem came in with it. Julius, your thoughts?
I feel like this is some false prophetism to me. We are seeing, especially in the ways of our weather, God is showing, quit doing things in the way of my name. He is sick and tired of being sick and tired. And if you wanted to raise some 40K, you're a multi-million gospel recording artist. You couldn't have coordinated a committee to say, hey, let's do this as a fundraiser and we could donate it to the charity or like something through the organization. But no, it's lock the doors, ain't nobody leaving until we reach this 40K. I don't care what his added context was when he was explaining everything. I don't have a care in the world. What he was saying was all word salad, and it went in one ear and out the other because it was all excuses. We talk in scripture. It talks about false prophets for a reason, and now we are seeing the reason why. There's a committee of false prophets around the current occupant at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We just seen one up on the screen. And this is why when you are full of greed and you show it in certain ways, people gonna look at you sideways. And I'm so glad that all these astute, educatedly foolish people are being exposed. That's it. That's all.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
He officially held these people hostage and asked them to pay their ransom.
True.
Listen, he was it was poor and bad judgment, I think, all the way around. And his initial thing, he didn't say the extended version that he initially said, right? He just said the initial thing was it wasn't my intent, and then the extended version, he wanted to throw in Bible verses and this is the way and this, that, and the other. Listen, and yeah, we all do have budgets. And that's why you don't throw a conference if you don't have the money to pay for said conference. And when you level out the money that the conference costs and all the speakers that you have to pay that come there, that's when you say to yourself, okay, how much are we charging everybody to come to this conference? We're going to charge them $30, $40, $50, or $100, whatever you need to charge so that you cover everything. And then everything after that is just all extra. That's what you got to do. So maybe y'all got a budget issue within the church yourself.
Exactly that, Diva. And let me tell you, I went to a church through the United Church of Christ under one of my former pastors. And we hosted the annual T-Fam of Affirming Ministries at our church after we just got done cleaning it and stuff. But like you just said, the price was $25. Now, I didn't have it at the time, but that's okay. But it was reasonable for folks who had more income base than I did. And when I went to church that Sunday, everybody was talking about how spirit filled it was and what they took away from it. It was about really sharing the love of God and the teachings of God and what he wants us as his people to know. It wasn't about chasing money, but this here is a money grab.
Yeah. So I'm closing out, y'all. I don't know that was in Baltimore. He sure was not getting it money. He lucky they did not kidnap his cell or the conference did not get robbed. Here's the thing though. Like I said, I go to church, right? And yes, he is streaming it online. And here's the thing. Nobody knows at what given moment you're going to like do the offering. And if somebody was going to try to rob you, you would have locked them inside because it most likely would have been somebody that was already inside the building. For somebody to see online and say, oh, they about to do offering, oh, he's about to collect 40K. Okay, they got to get in their car, try to get down there. Like, come on. And then, like you said, if you know this is normal protocol, you should have had all the security you needed. He can't gaslight me because I'm a church goer and I get it. Like, and I've seen these things happen. And like I said, my problem is not asking for the money. My problem is the way he did it. My problem is him saying close the doors. And he meant it because the ushers was there like shocked. He meant it. He meant go back there, close them doors. Because like I said, nobody is leaving. And the venom he had when he said, y'all ain't going to do nothing but get ready to go out to the restaurant to eat.
He demanded that money.
He demanded the money. He demanded.
But Diva, you say it's not about them asking for the money, but for me, it is asking for the money because the money he wanted was 40 stacks. The man wanted 40 stacks.
But you know what though?
See,
I guess, Leo, because I go to church all the time and they do call out a goal. But they never, it's never where, oh, okay, y'all
Yeah,
ain't
but they'll lock you in and tell you ain't leaving until
That's what I was getting to say, in my opinion. It's never that they gonna lock you in and tell you that you ain't leaving until we meet said goal. It's never that. Yeah, all the time when I go to church, like they have a goal, like we're trying to get $10,000 for XYZ or whatever. If everybody, and they will say if everybody get $50, if everybody give 100, but they will also say if you don't have that, get what you can, and they keep it pushing. Like,
right,
that's why I said
right.
this is not the money problem. That's why I say I don't have a problem with the money. I have a problem with the way he did it. It was like, lock the doors. We're not leaving until we reach this 40K. And leaders behind me, that $20 wasn't for you. Y'all need to give 100 because he said it costs to be on this stage. No, he was all the way to the left. He was all the way to the left. And he did it, and that's not, and like I said, I've been in churches all my life. That was wild what he did, and he knows what he did is wild. And that, and just even his whole persona up on that stage, if you see his face when he said y'all ain't about to do nothing but go to the restaurant, well, they hungry. If you ever been in them conferences, you having a good time, you love them, but after a while you looking at your watch like, girl, I can't wait to eat.
I know that's right.
You hungry. And so a lot of people, they come from out of town to go to that conference. So yeah, we're about to go to the restaurant because we can't go back to our house to cook because our house is back in Jersey.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You are going to the restaurant. He was wild. He was wild. And this is coming from a churchgoer. Go ahead.
And then I'm gonna add on another one to the list. He tried to publicly humiliate the people, shame the people, bribe the people, and now he trying to make the people sacrifice. What, to sacrifice they good restaurant meal for him?
All the opposite teachings of Jesus.
And just in case you didn't have it and you were standing there because you couldn't slip out the door because they said close the door. So could you imagine how you was feeling? Like, oh my God, if I go try to slip out, they're going to call me out. And he said, you need to come up here. I want to see 1,000 people move and come up here and get this $20.
The public
They was his
humiliation
hostage
for
and they
me.
had to pay their ransom.
And if
That's
you
God.
pay electronically, you got to show, child. No, that was wild. That was over the top. If you gave it electronically, you got to prove it.
Oh my God.
That was kidnapping. Them folks can't get him for kidnapping, and he did it online. That's kidnapping.
Mm-hmm.
Diva, it's a church down here that I think it's you either got to show your W-2 or your taxes or something. I think it's your W-2 to make sure
that you paying your 10% tithe. I think Green got a phone call.
I hate those churches like that because those be the mega churches that only want the money.
I've never heard that before. You got to show your W-2 to show you pay your 10%
Yeah, so
tithe.
these new mega churches, they making you show your W-2s. You have to commit to being on a certain committee. They tell you how much you have to pay for the year, and then if you want it broke down into every service, they tell you how much you have to pay every service.
That's why I
Oh
love these little country
God.
churches. That's why I love a country church. Ain't got time.
Woo, child. But listen, guys, I appreciate y'all being here. Y'all know the routine. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.